let's do 3 more of those. Let it all go. Last 2. And 1 more. Okay. Whenever you're ready, open your eyes. Hi.
Hi.
I can't believe we're finally doing this.
I know. I was trying to think of the last time I saw you. Was it retreat?
I think it was retreat. And like
First retreat.
First retreat.
And I'm about to do my 5th. So like, it's a long time.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, Jacq has been literally my ride or die mentor for the past 5 years. I look back and I'm like, if you weren't like such a strong pillar, I don't know where I would be right now.
I mean, you're going to make me cry. I'm emotional today, but I also like just got a flash of you on us on FaceTime, you walking, in Dallas. You were in Dallas, obviously. It was still Dallas. Walking in Dallas, like in 2020 when it was at that point where I like stopped. I started doing everything for free. Just been an integral part of YIB as it's like changed and grown as, the years have gone on. I'm just proud of you.
Oh my God. Well, I'm proud of you being in all the groups that I've been in, but then also seeing the growth of YIB over the past 5 years. How many women that you've integrally really impacted has been such an honor to see, to say that like, oh, I know her.
Okay. Again, you're going to make me cry.
No.
Today, no. It's important, right? I think we were talking a little bit about this before, but it's really easy, I think, to not breathe in the moment and be in the moment and be fixated on where you want to go or how much more you want to do. It's the gap versus the gain. And I myself, right, I can easily do that too. And today specifically, I've had to at multiple points stop myself from being fixated on the gap and really look at the gain and be like, when you first started this in 2017 and if you got this opportunity, would you not be freaking out? Like you would have probably fallen on the ground and now you did what you've always wanted to do and you're saying it wasn't enough. Like check yourself. So like, I think even just hearing you say that it's such a mirror because it's too easy to not reflect and be proud. And so I'm going to receive it and acknowledge myself as you acknowledge me, because to me, that's a tool in itself is self-acknowledgement. I think it's foundational in your connection to yourself, and we'll get into it. Yeah, it's just too easy. So thank you.
Absolutely. And what I think is so interesting is that I've been noticing, as well as people that I've talking to recently, there's been kind of this season of we just keep going. And then a lot of times we don't honor ourselves of how far we've come. Like you mentioned back in 2017, honoring like the beautiful opportunities that have been given here. Now we're just on to the next. Right. And like that's one more opportunity. And then once again, maybe having whatever stories in our head maybe dictate that current moment when maybe, whoa. Do you actually see it?
Yeah. I mean, even just thinking 5 retreats, right? You were at the first one. Now I'm about to do the 5th one. And I'm already thinking like, okay, I want to add a 3rd in the year. Like, how can I add a 3rd? Can I do it differently? Can I actually do a 2.0 version of this retreat? It's like, I think that's great. I really do. I think one of the things I do genuinely appreciate about myself is my determination and my drive and my passion behind what I do. But I had a best friend even say to me, like, I just have a question. Like, people in corporate America, it takes them years to get promoted. I feel like you constantly are trying to promote yourself and that's great. But like, are you also acknowledging everything you've already done and where, and all of that. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
So yes, it's very easy to do that.
So how do you stop?
I think it's just checking yourself, right?
I love that.
Part of what I do with people, I mean, and then you can speak to it yourself, but one thing that's really important to me is making it all real, right? Like life is real. It is real. Let's make it real.
Yeah.
Or let it be real. And part of that is any limiting belief, any pattern that you have, we can crack that code. We can unravel it to the point where you trace it, you understand where it came from, why you are the way that you are, and you can get to the point where you're making another choice, but you're still going to have moments where those patterns are activated. So if that's going to happen inevitably, Is it about that, or is it about what you do in response? And I think it's less about stopping and more about beginning again. Like I said, there were multiple points today where I caught myself falling into perfectionism. It's like, great, that's a part of me. If it's never going to 100% go away, can I at least, when it's happening, check myself in the moment and redirect?
For the people that don't know exactly what you do, how would you high level explain what you do, but then also
why?
Why?
What I do is I work with people on learning the skill of relationship. That's like the highest level way to describe it. I'm a big believer that self-connection is a skill. And just like any other skill, it is one you can learn, and is one, if you put in the consistent effort and commitment, you can get really good at. But it takes that effort, and it takes that commitment, and it takes the choice to learn, the choice to choose you. And so I work with people on learning the skill and then finding ways to implement actual day-to-day practices in your real life so that skill continue to be practiced. And I do it in groups. Everything I do is in group because I'm such a big believer that being seen as medicine, and it's often medicine we don't even realize we need until we're in it, and seeing ourselves through the lens of somebody else's experience. And why I do this is because I needed this. Right? I still need this. Everyone needs this. And I ultimately just became the person that I didn't have when I was really going through it for the first time. And I battled with myself all throughout my younger years. I had an eating disorder that led me to a rock bottom when I was a junior in college. And I got amazing clinical help. I will say that until I die. But when I would leave that therapeutic setting, I still felt like there was this huge missing piece. I didn't have anybody who could actually help me take that awareness that I was developing in therapy and meet it with action. And to me, awareness without action is settling. So I was like settling for so long. And now I help people not settle and continuously come back to themselves and remembering the truth of who they are in every moment, at every point in life, because that's the practice is it's going to be a constant choice, and it's up to you to make it.
One of the many, many things that you've taught me, you have to take action. You have to be accountable for your own life. And you are so good at reminding me consistently when I lose myself every couple months, hello. But what I think is fascinating is that through your own experiences, you've been able to do that so intentionally with everyone else around you.
I think too, it's about practicing what you preach. It's like, I'm not sitting here. And it's funny because once upon a time I did this unintentionally, but I'm not sitting here acting like I don't too hit periods of disconnection, and I don't too have to make the choice every single day to stay connected to myself. Of course I do. I'm no different. The only difference I would say between me and maybe somebody who hasn't made the choice yet is that I'm making the choice, but you have the same choice. And so I really have just like made it my mission to make it digestible and to make this space feel safe enough for people to make that first move, because the first move is the hardest one.
By far.
Yeah.
Every single time you make that choice, it's going to feel and look different too, which I find fascinating. And it's throughout that process, you start to learn the choices that you make really impact how you move on a day-to-day basis.
Well, the way that you speak to yourself, I'm going to say what you've probably heard me say 7 million times, but the way that you speak to yourself dictates your entire reality. It matters the absolute most. And so it's funny, when you were talking, you said something like, you know, I have to. And I'm really big on shifting away from have to and need to. You know, you don't have to make this choice. You don't need to make the choice. You get to, though, if you choose to, if you want to. And if you think about it, just sit here and think about it, right? It's a really, they're unconscious phrases, have to, need to. I, too, catch myself often, but I will immediately correct myself because I don't have to be here. What if I was like, I have to do this versus I get to do this? I didn't change anything. I didn't change my body posture, nothing. I just changed the words and the language, and it changes the entire energy of the sentence.
I don't think I understood how my words actually impacted me before you so intentionally, real, raw, and honest, being like, did you actually just hear yourself communicate that? I noticed that because I always used to say should. And now I'm like, oh, well, I don't say should anymore because I don't should myself. Like I don't shit myself. I don't should myself. And it's like, but I've changed that with, oh, well, I have to.
Yeah.
And it's like, Like
or
you
like
just
I
said.
have to do better, or like I really need to focus on the way that I'm talking to myself. No, you don't. You do not need to, but you can if you choose to, and you'll see very quickly what happens when you audit the way that you speak to yourself. I always say, like, that is the very first thing. If someone's like, how do I start? Start there. Start to pay attention to the language that you use to yourself about yourself, because you see it all the time all over Instagram. It's really, these words are buzzworthy. Like, you wouldn't talk to yourself the way that you would talk to your best friend or someone you cared about. Always. Because you wouldn't if you really cared about that person. So if you care enough to audit the way you speak to somebody else, why not choose to do that for you too? But it all goes back to the point that I make about relationship being a skill, this relationship we have with ourselves being something we get to learn if we choose to, because it's not something we're taught. From the second that you're born, you're taught how to be in a relationship with somebody else. You are not taught how to be in this one. We are just supposed to innately know. And maybe some of us have a baseline innate knowing a little bit more than others, but for the most part, we don't. So if we were willing to put in the effort to like learn how to be loyal or learn how to communicate effectively and all these things, it's the same thing for ourselves, but it's the most overlooked because it's the one that really shapes your entire world.
Once again, like you mentioned, the relationships with other people should be one of the most important aspects of your life, the ones that you have with your parents, your partner, God willing, children at that point. And it's fascinating because we go through this life and nobody mentions that. Meeting you was the first time I ever realized, oh, I should actually focus on myself for a little bit. And you hear those, once again, those things on Instagram where it's like, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others, fill up your cup first. And it's like, well, honestly, what the fuck does that mean?
And how?
Yeah. Because there's no guidebook on that. There's no course. There's no someone to lead you growing up in that space.
It's also not one size fits all. I think that's why we use the nourishment menu, because I think it's also really easy to overlook the things that you already do as potential moments of connection or reconnection. And people are so quick. I mean, wellness fatigue, I think, is real, right? We're scrolling social media. Comparison is loud. So-and-so is doing this practice, and this is what this other person's morning routine looks like, and this is how this person grounds themselves. And it's like, but what works for you? Because what works for me might not work for you, but that doesn't mean you're wrong or you've done something wrong or I'm right. It just means maybe I found things that work and you can too. That's why the nourishment menu is so real. And for those listening who don't know what the nourishment menu is, if you want to do it, I literally have people make a note on their phone and pin it to the top of the notes app. And you make a list of the things that really allow you to feel present or make you feel appreciated or seen or just like genuinely joyful. Some of them on mine are like sun on my face in the morning, or like giggling with my daughter, or a really amazing first sip of coffee in the morning, stuff that I do no matter what. But if you change the intention behind the choice to do them, you instantly connect with yourself.
And that nourishment menu that I made when we first reconnected that I did back in 2020.
Oh my God, it's a different program now. And I'm also redoing it again. But it's like, I think back to when you did it, totally different.
In the seasons of life, that nourishment menu continues to change.
Totally. That is a staple. I don't think I'd ever remove that, just because it's so accessible and it really can be done whether you're in the program or not. And it's something I use every single day.
Those tools are the things where I'm like, it's just like breathing. Yeah. It's free. With the intention behind it, it can totally shift how the rest of your day goes. Because when I can catch myself, I feel so much better. Before all of this, I would have maybe not been a full believer. At the end of the day, I'm here to serve. I'm here to take care of other people. I'm here, especially as women too. I feel like there's a lot of pressure or expectations that you put on yourself, but then also other people put on you with the responsibilities, whether it's work, whether it's motherhood, whether it's partnership, whether it's being a daughter, whatever it is. And we go through life and then it's like, oh, wait, I don't realize I'm disconnected until I am. And then it's like, oh, how do I come back?
Someone asked me recently, like, why do you think so many women are disconnected? So many people are disconnected. And when I genuinely ask myself that question, I think one of the biggest, loudest answers is that it's scary. It's scary to change your mind. It's scary to change a dynamic. It takes courage to choose you. And our brains are not wired to choose discomfort. So if our comfort zone is to put others before us, or to, make ourselves small, or to people please, or to caretake, whatever it is, that's going to be our impulse. That's going to be the easy move. The hard move would be to do something different. And I think people don't realize their power, though. They don't realize that they can, and they don't realize that it's actually not about how well you do it. It's about just trying to do it.
And that for me is what changed it. Because I always struggle with the I'm not enough. Or, if I don't do it, the perfectionism aspect of it, it's like, if it's not done perfectly, like, why even bother doing it?
It's a black and white mentality.
100%.
All or nothing.
Yeah, definitely. Which can get me in a really nasty place pretty quickly in some aspects, especially when it comes to career or presenting myself in a certain way.
Totally.
But it's the moment, even if I do something terribly wrong, at least I tried.
Right.
At least I put effort forward to it. And like, now I know whether it's like going to be supportive for me or not.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time in my career, I think, unintentionally trying to be who I thought I had to be to succeed in the way that I dreamed to succeed. And it wasn't until, honestly, this last year where I was like very, very challenged just from, I went on this fertility journey for a second baby, and when I commit to something, I commit 110%, and I was really giving all of me to growing my family, and it wasn't happening. So it's triggering all these old beliefs of, I'm not enough, or I am wrong, or I'm broken in some way, or I'm nothing unless I show this or provide value or whatever it is. And I had this moment where I found out I wasn't pregnant for the IUI cycle that kind of changed the course for me. And it was like the balloon popped or the veil dropped, whatever you want to say. But it was like, when I heard you're not pregnant, I was like, I could hear myself again. And inside I was screaming. I was like, listen. And you said something about losing yourself. And I think the thing about disconnection is you're never lost. You've just drifted. And you're never as far away as you feel in the moments that you feel far away. And it was like, I was feeling so far away from myself, but I couldn't figure out a way to bring myself back. And it was in that moment that I decided I'm done trying. That change of mind brought me back. And I think it all takes courage. I think it's really scary to feel misunderstood. And trying to be somebody in my career for as long as I did, to just circle back to that, like, it was all rooted in, I don't want to be misunderstood. See me, fully see me. But I don't think I could really even see myself to the extent that I can now because of everything I just moved through. So every disconnection point, right? I mean, think about everything you and I have worked on together, or just you've moved through in your life. Nothing's been a mistake.
Never.
It's all been for a reason. And that reason, maybe you don't see it as clearly when it's happening, but in hindsight, you see it. You see through clear glass.
I really resonate with is that if you don't share what you're going through, how can you expect to be understood by other people around you if you don't share? I mean, don't have to share everything, but like to the point where it's like, let's be vulnerable. Let's talk about our shit, because there's probably a lot of us going through maybe some very different things, or maybe some very similar stories.
Totally.
And then it makes us all feel not alone. How do you allow yourself to shift and change that story of success or that dream that, okay, I had an expectation of what things would possibly look like, not only in my career, my family. How does that shift from 5 years ago to now?
Yeah. I've been writing a lot about this, how the opportunities that are coming my way now, I genuinely feel like I am a version of myself who is able to be present in them, but also like receive them. And, with that quick growth, or those people who grow really fast and the ones you're comparing yourself to, and I have done that as well. When someone shoots to the top, they're not necessarily ready for what they're experiencing. So it's really easy to sit back and say like, well, this person's so far ahead of me and this person has grown so fast, so quick. I'm still here. But it's like, you're getting an opportunity with a slow growth to really become who you're meant to be at the time you receive what you want to receive. And I didn't always feel that. I mean, I didn't always see that, but now I really see that. And I'm grateful for the progression of my career and how I've kind of walked my way through doors, or, slam doors, having to go to like try another thing. My vision has changed, but it's always changed without my knowing until I'm like in the next phase. And I'm like, oh, I never would have thought that I was like bookending a lot of workout classes, but like I kind of love being the moment that somebody drops in and the moment that somebody comes out of that movement. Like, I never would have thought that I potentially wanted to shift away from things that like really felt like anchors in my company to open myself up to something else. I think one of the biggest and greatest gifts you can give to yourself is recognizing that sometimes things don't look the way that we expect them to, but they always look the way that they're meant to. I still have visions. I still have a very clear vision actually of my end. Well, I say my end point. I'm sure when I get there, I'll be like, what's next? But believe it or not, I don't think it's as far away as I was once telling myself that it is, because I am willing to kind of let it unfold the way that it's meant to, in a way that I didn't always feel. I was like way more tight gripped and scared to allow that control.
Seeing you from a place of doing this truly on your own to then building a team behind you and seeing the scalability of what you've done over this period of time. And yes, I wasn't there at the very beginning, but just seeing that growth I think is incredible. But another thing that you've done so well about is building community and being so intentional about bringing people together and sharing the grief, sharing the celebration, sharing the shit, sharing the shoulds, sharing the have tos, but also sharing the, oh, I see that. I feel that. I see you. And something that I'll never forget, one of the meditations, and you're like, I see you, I hear you, I love you. And when you hear that from a place of so much support, to me, that's like everything.
Yeah. I think community is so important. And I'm so grateful. I like have amazing people in my life, but everybody serves a purpose and people have limits. And, I think what I always longed for was to feel fully seen, to be able to show up and just be, right? To meet the moment, whether I'm feeling down or feeling dramatic or feeling silly or feeling messy, whatever it is, like to be able to just truly be that version of myself, feeling safe. And yes, that safety comes from my own emotional safety, but something I pride myself on about YIB or with YIB in the community is that emotional safety, right? Like I'm always going to disarm the walls with honesty. I'm always going to put myself in the fire with you guys because there's no difference between us. And if you see that, magic happens. I mean, if you put yourself in a space and you tell the truth, magic happens. So I want to create that magic over and over again because, I mean, even knowing that you're so close with the people you're so close with, it's because you were real from the jump. It's because they truly saw you from the beginning. There was no mask. There was no, let me like pretend to be this person out of protection, but pretend or perform nonetheless. Like these are your people because they were just as much themselves with you as you were with them. And that's a gift.
And it truly is, but also you've created that safe space for us. Like that has been you to do that for us. And what I find fascinating is that so many of the YAB girls that I'm still like daily connection with, we can go deep so quickly, no matter how little time that we've had, whether it's virtually or in person, to have some of the more deeper conversations that I've had with people that I've known for a very long portion of my life. How do you navigate being that leader and that mentor while also being in the depths with us?
So I actually recently really accepted who I am as a leader. Let's start just from a business standpoint, who I am as the CEO of YIB. I used to think that I wasn't CEO material or I was such a founder because I'm emotional. But it's like, I'm a heart-led CEO. I'm a heart-led founder. That doesn't make me any less. It just means that I'm 100% authentic to who I am. And my team sees that. I might cry on a meeting or I might feel like some type of way about a response. That's okay to show. It doesn't make me any less of a leader. If anything, it makes me the leader I dream to be. I think it's about owning where I am at every point that I'm at. If you were in group with me, not you, but anyone was in group with me over the last almost year when I was really going through it, it's not like I bared my soul in that space because that's not the part that I play in that moment. But it's not like I wore a mask either and pretended like there wasn't shit going on. I was very honest about what was happening. And once I got more comfortable with where I was, then I started to share more of where I was because, again, there's no separation. There can't be. We're all human beings. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, especially with new people, it's like, I'll wave the vulnerability flag first. Yeah. I'll show you, what vulnerability is, and not to prove anything, but just to exist. And if I exist, you exist. Mm-hmm. It circles back to what you were just saying. Like, you feel seen, they feel seen. You can go deep right away because you feel safe. Mm-hmm. So the more safe I feel in what I'm experiencing, the easier I think it is for me to create a safe space for others to do the same.
It really does support me to hear on my entrepreneurship journey, especially in the season that I'm in right now, because, sometimes you go on autopilot as an entrepreneur because you're like, once again, the have-tos, the conversation we had earlier of, just going through the motions at some point, but then realizing that, okay, you have to pause. You have to be. You can't just do.
Get to.
Choose to. All the time.
Yeah.
And like how lucky to have the opportunity to do something that you love and to be supported around so many other individuals that support what you do as well. And there's so many tools that you've given me to get on this journey. And once again, would not be on this journey without you, period. I wouldn't have had the balls to do it, period, at all. You gave me that confidence to do that.
I'll also never forget the call we had when you told me you wanted to do breath work. I literally remember exactly where I was. I was living in LA at the time, and I was like, I'll take this call on a walk. And I went on a walk, and I literally sat down, and I was sitting on the curb, and you were like, I really think I want to pursue breath work. And I was like, go for it. And now look at you. So there's a moment for you too. I know it's really easy to kind of sit back and be like, there's so much I want to do. This is so hard. Am I even enough? You're already doing what you said you wanted to do in 2020. You're doing it. So really choose to be proud of that, because back then, I'm sure if I said, I have a crystal ball, I could tell you, we're going to sit in a podcast room, we're going to talk about breath, because you're going to have a podcast called Breath Sessions, and you're going to be leading these workshops. And you would have been like, really? Right?
Couldn't have done it without you.
Still here every step of the way. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going. The tools that you have in the nourishment menu earlier, the mindset, and I don't even like to call them hacks because a lot of times I feel like it's like, oh, the quick fix. And there's there's quick tangible things that we can quickly step into. This is a forever project that we're working on as far as mindset goes. You've given me so many tools when it comes to journaling, when it comes to pausing, when it comes to breath work, when it comes to meditation, when it comes to visualization, that ultimately creates that safe space, not only your energy, your aura, and how you lead, but also the tools that you've been able to give us. If someone were really trying to take a beat, saying they're on autopilot all the time, or they're shoulding, or they're have-toing, or they're in a space where I don't even know where to begin with myself, what would be the first thing that you would do?
Well, one tool that I've been working with, I just actually gave this as an action step in Recharge, which is the new program that I run. It's called the Peace Pause. And it's very quick. It's 3 minutes max. It doesn't really matter where you are in your journey. This is something you can do. I think something we crave is peace, and peace comes from presence, and presence comes from clarity. And it all kind of connects to self-trust at the end of the day. So I have people set a timer on their phone for whatever time they tend to, or they see the pattern within themselves where they kind of go on autopilot, or they start to feel pressure to do it all, or urgency to get it done. Set a timer on your phone every single day. And when that timer goes off, actually label, on an iPhone, you can change the label to Peace Pause. And when the timer goes off, because you won't even remember that it's going to go off because you're going to get on autopilot, move. When it goes off, really see it and look at it through the lens of this is a promise I've kept to myself, or I'm choosing to keep to myself, because confidence to me is rooted in self-trust. All of that is built through making promises and actually keeping them. So if you promise yourself, if you want to start anywhere, start with these promises. And a really small promise to make is a 3-minute moment of peace. So the alarm goes off, you close your eyes. If you want to put your hands in your heart, you put your hands in your heart. The first question is asking yourself, where am I? How do I feel? Okay, you name that, because it doesn't matter how you're feeling. There's no right or wrong way. Name the feeling, and then ask yourself, is this really urgent, or is it just loud? Answer the question. It's likely no, it's just loud. After you ask that, what would 10% more peace in this moment feel like? Answer that question, and then ask yourself, what could I give to myself right now that I'm not listening to? and give yourself what you need. And again, it's very quick. Do it at the office. I give it to a lot of corporate groups is just a very quick reset. It's accessible. It's digestible. It's not rocket science. It's just connection.
In every season, in every chapter, not only of your life, but in the seasons of YB, I feel like there's always through lines with communities or when you're in groups, I feel like, or the groups that at least I've been in, there's always like an underlying theme that tends to pop up every now and again. Has there been a particular theme that's kind of been running over the past few groups or like in this chapter or this season with the people that you've been connecting with or working with?
I would say this big theme of being willing to change your mind and being willing to take a step back and say, I deserve more. And not only just saying it, but then really meeting that with action to give yourself what you deserve. Whether that's, maybe you got into a relationship and it was going really well for a while, but then it starts to curve and you're not really feeling like you're being seen, or you're not really feeling like you're being heard. And you're like, well, I told everyone that I like loved this person, and you're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to say, wait a minute, I deserve more. This isn't working for me anymore. Maybe you took a job that you were like so hyped about, and it was in your mind the job that you thought was going to be perfect and everything you always hoped for. And you start the job and it doesn't feel right. And it's a couple months in and you're like, I could never walk away from this. I just started. You're allowed to change your mind. Maybe it's similar to me where I, gave 110% to growing my family. I told everyone, I posted on Instagram, on TikTok, everything. I'm on this fertility journey. I'm allowed to change my mind. And all I could think about when I chose to change my mind was how many women or people in general don't think that they can because it's selfish. It's not selfish. It's incredibly selfless to make another move. And usually the move that is for us is the risky move, is the one that scares us. And I was terrified. And I know many people in group, I've worked through a lot of big feelings of pressure to do it all right and pressure to keep it together. You have to meet the moment and be willing to tell the truth in the moment. And if that means you make a different move, you make a different move. And trust me, you make that move that is in alignment with you, you will feel so much closer to yourself and your life will reflect that. Opportunities will flood in. The right people, you'll bump into them on the street, right? Everything starts to happen when you choose you. And it's kind of magical, honestly.
I totally agree because every time that you have taken like a brick out of that wall that I create around myself, that protection mechanism that I feel like I know I continue to build and break and build and break. And so many other people that I know too, it's like there's a facade that is so tempting to put on, especially when we're going through more challenging seasons or moments where it's like there's a lot more question marks than you maybe potentially want. How do you continue to stay so authentic and like, I hate that word, but like so true to yourself when you're in not only the easiest of moments or where things are flowing, but maybe when the moments are a little bit more challenging?
I kind of sound like a broken record, but I feel like it just comes back to ownership. So I really just try to own wherever I am. And it's real. I mean, you said it yourself, like sometimes you build the wall and you break it down. You build the wall and you break it down. And once you've broken it down and you're in flow and everything's feeling amazing, if that wall starts to build again, you're like, no, like, please no. And so you resist it. And I've found that resisting growth, resisting disconnection, resisting fear, whatever it is, it pushes you from yourself. So I've really tried, especially this year, to not resist where I am, even if it's a place I've deemed wrong or, not as desirable, just really be honest about it. Because I've found, just like feelings, if you acknowledge what is there, that's when it all starts to move. The more you resist it, the longer it persists, the louder it gets.
And that's many things that you have shown me too, is that multiple feelings can exist.
Yes, ma'am.
And, until you really taught me that. I didn't really understand what that means. You can sit in grief, but still be in so much joy. And one is not wrong, one is not right. And I think a lot of individuals that I personally have worked with as well, it's once again, the black and white mentality of like, you can live in so many different ways, but you have to connect to yourself to feel all those things. Yeah. And that can sometimes be the hard part.
Yeah, I'm recognizing too that like it's just because you acknowledge, you know, I've drifted from myself. I'm going to come back home. I'm going to make the conscious choice to come back home. Just because you acknowledge that doesn't mean you're going to do that perfect either. So like the expectation can't be that you're never going to disconnect. The expectation can't be that you're never going to feel doubt or fear or imposter syndrome or whatever it is that plagues you. The expectation cannot be that even when you feel those things and you're connected enough to hear that and change that, make the choice to change it, you're not going to do it perfect. None of this can be you can't perfect imperfection. And we are imperfect. That's what makes us who we are. And there have been many times too where I've decided, okay, I'm going to come back home. I've drifted a little. I can feel it. I'm going to come back home, and I have 2 great days, and then I have 1 rock bottom day. You know, maybe not as deep as I've ever been, but like I'd call it a rock bottom day. And I have noticed so many times in the past, like where I'm mad at myself for being there. Yeah. And I'm like, you said you were going to do this. You said you were going to be better. Okay. You know, you're human. You're human. So I always encourage people to really kind of notice how high your expectations are. And that doesn't mean you lower your expectations because like shoot for the stars, but be real with the fact that you're a human and you're not a robot, and you don't even want to do it perfect, because it's in the contrast moments that you like really gain your substance and your layers.
I could not agree more. You know, if you don't have the hard times, how can you even celebrate the good times when they're actually present? Like you don't realize how incredibly grateful you are when those moments do come. Yeah. And how you work to get to those places. What has been most surprising for you on this journey over not only the past couple years, but just building YIB, building this community, being an entrepreneur, but also growing your family and stepping into this version of yourself that you're at right now?
I always tell myself, like, I'm shocked. I always shock myself that this surprises me still, but it blows my mind how the universe really has your back, whether that's guiding you in a direction that you didn't anticipate going down, or it's bringing you in the same room, or bringing the right people together. Like I'm always blown away at how at every retreat, in every group, the universe has brought the people together who like are meant to be together, you know, who are going to allow that element of being seen and that safety to actually unfold. Like it blows my mind. And then even with how the universe has your back in life, like I was trying so hard to force what I thought my life was supposed to look like, or this plan that I had made for myself. You know, I used to say, I'm going to be done having kids by 35 and I'm going to be focusing on only my career, da-da-da-da-da. The moment I was like, maybe not. Like, maybe not. Like, maybe there's more. And I took a step back from trying to control, and I really like leaned into the trust. I'm now like, the things that have come up, I'm like, oh my God. You know, it's like the universe really knows there's something bigger than you. And it doesn't mean you matter. You matter so much. But you matter so much that there's a better plan for you. So allow it to happen. Blows my mind. Like truly.
The faith in whatever. What has that faith looked like to you? The surrendering to that.
It's hard. So hard. It's scary. But I think now more than ever, I'm definitely surrendered. It's kind of exciting, right? Like it's like when you zoom out for a second and you're like, oh my God, I actually am exactly where I'm supposed to be. It's really exciting to think like, if this is where I am right now and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now, where am I going? Like really, where am I going? Yeah. And it's a level of self-trust that I've never had before. I've had like moments or like glimmers of it, and I've felt it for periods of time. But now I'm like, oh no, I really trust. And maybe it's because I made that huge change and it was really terrifying. But because I made it and it brought me back to myself so fast, I really trust that like I can't mess it up. No one can. You cannot mess it up.
And what a freeing thing to not only hear, but to start to live in that way of, okay, if I make a decision, it's not going to be the wrong one.
Yeah.
Might be to the left versus to the right or whatever, but I'm going to get back on that course, whatever it may be, because that's ultimately the path that you're meant to be on.
Nothing's
regardless.
a mistake.
I totally agree. And in the moment, we may not believe that in certain moments. And so much easier said than done to like be 20/20 on certain aspects of our life. But how do you pause when you're in those places? How do you like find your breath? How do you find yourself in those moments?
This is probably not the answer you want, but I mean, I do and then I don't. And then I do and then I don't. I think this is always a choice. It's always a choice to come back home, but it's forever your choice to make. So I'll make a choice. Maybe it won't feel great. Maybe I'll wish it was something else, but then I'll make another one. It's just, it goes back to self-trust. I just trust that I can. And I think when you believe that you can, everything changes.
Jacq, are you kidding me?
Love you.
I love you. Thank you for taking the time to do this with me.
Thank you for having me.
Your groups have not only changed the trajectory of my life, and so I definitely attribute the journey that I'm on to a huge component to you. So I know you have so many groups. You have retreats that sell out, but I know you also have a deck.
I do have a deck.
And this deck I use religiously every week with a lot of my clients. And it has been such a beautiful ripple effect that I've been able to share the tiniest bit of your wisdom with people in Dallas. Would you want to pull a card?
Yeah, should we pull some cards?
Yeah, let's pull some cards.
As I'm like playing with, I joke that my deck is my like emotional support system. Like I have a deck everywhere. I have one in my car. I have one in every floor of my house. Like this deck is so special because it really does. I mean, oracle cards, tarot cards, we love all of that. It's so fun to have those done. But I think one thing that's overlooked about that kind of deck is that it requires you to outsource, right? Like if you're not having someone read it for you, maybe you're opening a book to decode the message that it's giving you. This reconnection deck, there's nothing to decode. It's like you receive the message or the messages you are meant to receive. So we'll pull your cards.
Let's do it.
And if you guys listening resonate with any of them, we love that. Just again, reminds us that we're not alone. So do me a favor. Close your eyes.
Perfect.
And put your hands on your heart.
Oh, thank God.
Waiting
for this moment.
Come back and just breathe. You know how to do that. Just breathe and connect to yourself in this moment. Try and quiet your mind as best as you can, but allow what is meant to be there too. And as you're breathing, just silently ask yourself in your own mind, what do you want me to know? What must I hear? And really allow yourself to receive whatever message is meant for you. And when you feel like you've received the message, or maybe there's more than one, you can bring yourself back. Okay. Typically, I would lay this out and have you pull. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to pull from the top of the deck, just from like a space perspective. Let's see.
Perfect.
It's like I hear when to stop shuffling. Okay. Great. Clear the energy. Okay. Let's see. Your first message is I am unmatched. It says people will always show you who they really are and how they really feel about you, not just through their words, but also through their actions. Pay attention to the signals you're receiving, because if someone is repeatedly showing you that they don't value your presence, the best thing that you can do is respond with your absence. Does that resonate?
Oh, 100% in my dating life completely.
We love that.
Absolutely.
Okay, your next card is I am becoming. Never regret going after what makes your heart feel full, even if it ends in hurt. Instead, be proud of yourself for being brave enough to chase what made you feel alive in the first place. Beautiful. And we always check the bottom of the deck. The bottom of the deck card is the message that is in your subconscious. So you're either aware of it and choosing to move through it, or you're aware of it and you're blocking it, or it maybe hasn't come to the surface yet, you know? So we welcome in whatever it is, but it is, I am supported. It says the people who stick around during your lowest moments, those people love the core of who you are, not just what you can do for them. You bring so much to the table and people find so much love, comfort, and security in you. True. You outpour unconditional love and support to everyone in your life. You do your best to never let anyone down. But who is there when you need someone to lean on? Life is short. Tell those people you love them.
Ooh.
Look at these cards.
Jacq.
I mean, this is like such a, like, I think spot on message for you. And I don't even know what you received from yourself, but like these cards are so you.
What's funny is that the message that I got was that it's totally okay to be right where you are right now.
Oh my God.
100%.
Like that is I am becoming card.
Yeah, 100%. Like to my core.
Wow.
And
it is.
That deck.
This deck is magic.
And you wrote every single one of those cards.
I did. I wrote every message, but they all came from journaling, and I pulled the message from, you know, when I would write, I pulled whatever I felt needed to be given to someone else. It wasn't just me who was meant to receive these writings. And they all have I am statements and messages. It's magic. There's something really special, like woven into these cards. I'm biased, I guess, but like
this deck out of the, I don't know, probably I have 40 decks.
I was going to say, how many decks do you have?
Yeah, like probably 40 between tarot and oracle decks.
For
like,
sure.
It is the one deck that once I felt called to bring it to other people, it's the deck that I'm always like, no, you need to pull from this. You need to pull from this because like the through line across the board.
It's crazy.
I mean, people will pull the card and get almost immediately emotional because it like immediately connects with them.
Totally.
Because the words are so grounding and they're so supportive and they're so loving and they're so nourishing. But I think knowing you too, I'm so lucky in that way that it's like your love is so deeply in there.
In it. I hope so. I used the deck like so many times today already, so many different things, and multiple people cry. I mean, you cry because you feel seen. You're like, oh my God. But I also think you cry because you're like, wait, I actually gave myself what I needed. That's insane. Like I took a second and I asked myself what I was meant to know. And then I pulled these cards because yes, I flipped for you, but like typically someone would flip for themselves and they're like, whoa, I just did that. It's empowering.
And it didn't take that long
either.
You have taught me it doesn't have to be this whole charades of it doesn't have to take 25 minutes. It doesn't have to take an hour. It doesn't have to take that much time in your day. Like once again, you can literally choose at any point in time to change how you're feeling.
Start again.
Just 10 seconds, 30 seconds.
So fast.
1 minute, 3 minutes. It's not life altering things.
No.
But it's life changing when you choose. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're the best.
You're the best.
I'm so grateful for you.
Vice versa.